Your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Even if you've applied before, they may be eligible now. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Bugs crashing your pack's party? Whether they've got paws or sneakers, your pack deserves a home that's protected from pests. That's where Wondercide comes in. Plant-powered protection made with steam-distilled natural essential oils that actually work. It kills and repels fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, and ants without questionable ingredients or overpowering smells. Safe to use around kids and pets when used as directed, lab-proven to work fast, and proudly made in the USA. We offer sprays for pets, people, homes, and yards. Plus, spot-on treatments, collars, and even shampoos. Whatever your pack needs, we've got it covered. Founded by a pet parent looking for a better way to protect her dog Luna, Wondercide's now protected over 21 million lives and counting. You might have even seen us on Shark Tank. Go to Wondercide.com and use code WONDER20 for 20% off your first order. That's WONDER20 at Wondercide.com. Wondercide. Protect your pack with plant-powered Wondercide today.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Kulturecast. I'm Chris Stachiw. My co-host Eric will not be joining us on this Kulturecast. However, I am joined by the blackest brother that I know, Mr. Mike Wallace.
Yes, yeah, that's me.
Preach, soul brother.
Yeah, two of the whitest human beings on the planet are going to be talking about Blaxploitation film.
I believe, according to Mel Brooks' History of the World, it's honkus whitus, as what we would be called.
And he would know.
Yeah, he would know. They're darker than we are. No, we're going to be talking about Blaxploitation this month, and we're going to kick it off by... it's actually a list that Mike came up with.
Yes.
So we're actually... we missed out last week. We kind of got lost in the shuffle a little bit. We're going to talk about Black Mama, White Mama, a film that, to take a little bit of umbrage with your pick, Mike, I'm not sure that's really a Blaxploitation film. Not as much as this.
No, not like this. Well, this is the granddaddy of them all. I mean, if there was a film that sort of kicked it all off, it was Coffin Comes to Harlem. I think that's when it became viable for film producers and potential investors to see that there was an actual market for Black African-American audiences.
Right. Well, and Black Mama, White Mama is more of like a women in prison, sexploitation, blaxploitation mix film, right?
True. Yeah, but it does star like the queen of blaxploitation,
right.
Pam Grier. So that's so it'll make every list just because of her ability, or rather her participation in that one. But
yeah.
When people ask me for a list of blaxploitation, I always put it on there just for the name alone. And
got to give it a little love.
Mm-hmm.
But however, we are not talking about Black Mama, White Mama on this Kulturecast. We are talking about Cotton Comes to Harlem. No, Cotton is not the name of the person. Cotton is the literal item, cotton.
Yes, the MacGuffin, if you will.
Yeah, the infinity, for the kids today, the infinity stones of this film.
Yes. Yeah.
The film is directed by Ossie Davis, otherwise known as Black JFK from Bubba Hotep.
Right, that's true. And DeMayer in Do the Right Thing.
And it's based on the book Cotton Comes to Harlem by Chester Himes. He wrote several books featuring the characters of Gravedigger Jones and Coffin Ed Johnson. Godfrey Cambridge plays Gravedigger Jones. Raymond St. Jacques plays Coffin Ed Johnson. And the film stars the two of them as they try to retrieve $87,000 in donated cash that was stolen, in quotations, by a con man reverend.
That sums it up.
Pretty much does.
Introducing two cops only a mother could love. Meet Coffin Ed Johnson and Gravedigger Jones, two of New York's finest. Two cops who take charge when an $87,000 bale of cotton comes to Harlem.
Tell me something, will you? What's the bale of cotton doing in Harlem?
A bale of cotton?
Bale of cotton.
No, what would a bale of cotton be doing in Harlem?
Down south, cotton was king.
Cotton comes to Harlem. It's cops and robbers with a shade of difference.
See any cotton around here lately? A bale of cotton, sure. Where is it now?
Did you turn Japanese? Wait, come on, you know the position, come on.
Damn it.
Another fine mess you got us into.
I got us into. Shut up and shoot.
Godfrey Cambridge's Gravedigger Jones. Raymond St. Jacques is Coffin Ed Johnson. Calvin Lockhart.
Well, if it ain't King Kong and Frankenstein.
Hey, what kind of talk is that, soul brother? Don't you know that black is beautiful?
They put a personal touch on everything they handle.
You have to play with that thing. I'm insecure, Captain.
They're big, they're cool, they're beautiful.
Where is that bale of cotton?
There ain't no such thing as a bale of cotton in Harlem.
Is that black enough for you?
I finally found that bale of cotton. One thing's for sure, it ain't drugstore cotton.
This is genuine Mississippi cotton.
Don't you know if cotton come to Harlem? Come on, let's boot cotton's bud. Let's boot his bud. I said if cotton come to Harlem, I think I'm gonna get me a stick and I'm gonna kick cotton in the butt.
Coffin Ed Johnson and Gravedigger Jones. Two cops only a mother could love.
Mike, I'm kind of curious, what made you choose this film for Blaxploitation Month?
Well, like I said, I mean, I do think it sort of kicked off the craze. I think it's actually one of the better films. I mean, you know, a hallmark of most blaxploitation movies is how sort of campy they can become, or sort of outrageous, and there's some of that in this. But I think this is actually a really well-made film. I think this slots right into the sort of crime genre of the 1970s, that sort of flavor. But at the same time, I mean, it is a predominantly black cast, if not almost entirely, except for like a couple of white cops. And I think the characters of Gravedigger Jones and Coffin Ed Johnson are two of the best cinematic police duos of all time. I would say that this is my favorite blaxploitation film of all time, but we're actually going to be talking about my favorite next week. So I think it's a really solid film. I think it's a good crime movie, and I don't know, man. I just think it's enjoyable beginning to end. It's always it's a good jump off point for anyone who's trying to get into this genre. It sort of eases you into it without going straight into like full on craziness, which you can get with some of the later movies.
So your favorite blaxploitation film is Petey Wheatstraw?
The Devil's Son-in-Law, yes, absolutely. Rudy Ray Moore. That movie is, I think the technical...
Hello and welcome to Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys. My name is Hunter. In this podcast, I'll be joined by a different guest each week to discuss a classic Western movie or TV show. I've been a fan of classic Westerns for as long as I can remember, and in recent years, they've become very nostalgic for me. I love the aesthetic, the tropes, and I love seeing different filmmakers' takes on them. At their best, they're incredibly entertaining, rewatchable, and some of my all-time favorite movies are Westerns. We'll mostly focus on Western movies made in Hollywood, but we'll also be covering spaghetti Westerns, and one thing I'm very excited to get into are Western TV shows. I've got some amazing guests coming on the show, film professors, historians, and podcasters. And Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys is part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, and many guests on the show will be from other shows on the network. Thanks for listening.
The audio commentary. It's a dying art form, but here at One Track Mind, I, your wonky yet affable host Ryan Luis Rodriguez, analyze film through the prism of these embryonic forms of podcasting, one audio commentary at a time. Masterpieces, crapster pieces, live action, animation, cult classics, films literally no one has ever heard of. No track is too small and no track is too big. Join me and my guests from the entertainment world as we keep these features alive every other Tuesday. Hey, who else is going to discuss Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey one week and Citizen Kane the next? Us, that's who. Sure, you have to put up with my voice, but there's a certain give and take in this industry. That's One Track Mind, part of the Someone's Favorite Productions family and available wherever you get your podcasts.
The term is fucking bonkers. And that's one of the best. That combines like all of the, because blaxploitation, like it's sort of a catch-all term, but you can have many different genres within it. I mean, there are blaxploitation horror or blaxploitation action or comedy. Rudy Ray Moore had a knack for sort of putting it all together. So you get every single one of those genres. You're going to have kung fu in that movie, and a horror element, and comedy, and social commentary, such as it is, and a whole lot of soul. This one is a bit more high-minded, Cotton Comes to Harlem, as it should be. But I don't think it skimps on the sort of action elements. And actually, all the elements are present here. It's just a bit more restrained.
Yes, that was kind of the thing I was surprised by. So, blaxploitation is not my genre of expertise, as it were. Mm-hmm. This is honestly the first time I've sat down and watched blaxploitation films en masse. And so watching this film, I mean, I see how it's blaxploitation with the cast, but it didn't have the things I was expecting.
Sure.
It felt very restrained in a good way.
In a good way. And like I said, it is the reason I include it is for that reason. It not only kicked it all off, but it's like dipping your toe into the pool of the insanity to come. And at the end of the day, this is just a really good movie that I don't think enough people have seen. As far as an antecedent for sort of most African American cinema that would come after it, like nobody ever points to this one and says like, yeah, that was a great one back in the day. And it's kind of an achievement, you think, when it's like 1970, and like not one but two major studios got behind this. I think it's like an MGM and United Artists co-production.
It's the most commercially successful film produced in the 70s featuring a black cast, which is crazy.
Yeah, equally crazy that nobody remembers it, like at all. Because if you throw up a list of the blaxploitation movies, obviously people are going to say Shaft and Superfly. Cleopatra Jones will get thrown in there, Black Belt Jones, Blackula, and those are all great movies. I love them all. But this one's really good and deserves a little bit more love, I think.
Well, and I think you can attribute a lot of the love that this film warrants is due to the roles of Godfrey Cambridge and Raymond St. Jacques as the two main characters, the two main detectives, as it were.
Yeah, and that's, again, not only sort of the restraint that this movie shows, but Ossie Davis is a really good actor, and I think this is his first feature that he directed, and he went ahead and cast it very well. These are really good actors in this movie. Godfrey Cambridge in particular, who, before I had known who he was because I had seen him in a couple other things, most specifically, now this is kind of a weirdo connection, but I'm sure you've seen Rod Serling had a series called Night Gallery in the 70s.
Right.
And in that series, it's kind of famous in that it was the first sort of jumping off point for Steven Spielberg. He directed an episode in their pilot, and then he directed one other episode sort of during the regular series. The second episode he directed was about a stand-up comedian, and that was actually played by Godfrey Cambridge. And weirdly, the pilot for Night Gallery featured Ossie Davis in like the best story in that. So I don't know why it's just not coincidence that these two actors are in that. But but Godfrey Cambridge, evidently, I hadn't known all that much about him, but apparently was a Tony Award-winning actor from the stage. So clearly Ossie Davis knew what he was doing when he cast these guys, because both of those guys are so natural and play off each other so well. And they're kind of rough characters too. They don't always do the right thing, as it were, in this film.
No, they hit women sometimes.
Yeah, I had no recollection of. I saw the movie maybe the last time was about maybe 10, 15 years ago, and I had seen it once before, in the theater, and I had forgotten a lot of how rough the movie was, and in particular, Coffin Ed seems to just go off the handle a lot, and he has to be restrained by Gravedigger a whole bunch of times, like literally restrain him, which was surprising to me. But not exactly outside the genre we're talking about as far as 70s crime movies go.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. I would almost kind of venture to say that this fits more into the 70s crime lexicon than it gets its credit for, right?
Yeah, oh, definitely.
It's a great 70s crime film. I mean, you could put up there with French Connection.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sort of hew toward the sort of the neo-realism that people like Friedkin were doing. Like the like Serpico or those kind of movies where they were trying to make it like as gritty as possible. And this movie has grit to it, but it's also a bit more fanciful than that. It harkens back. It's a weird hybrid where it harkens back to sort of more traditional sort of crime, like noir almost, while at the same time like dealing with the problems that were happening at that moment. And I got to say, like rewatching it, dealing with all the sort of different strata of the Black experience at that moment. Like there really wasn't a stone Ossie Davis wasn't willing to overturn for this movie. We got a little bit of a glimpse of everything, which I really like. I know it maybe isn't the traditional Blaxploitation movie, and I thought of that while I was watching it again, but like it's certainly an experience.
That's the thing. What I always assumed with Blaxploitation was it's a black cast against a white villain.
Yeah, and traditionally that does happen a lot.
And in this film, it's very much a black cast of heroes, anti-heroes, against a black con man.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah, but it's also slightly surprising because that's not what I was expecting at all.
Yeah, I mean, there usually is a Mr. Big character who's whitey in these movies, and we get a couple of them in here. What's funny is there's even there's a white police captain talking to his subordinates who are Gravedigger and Coffin Ed and saying like, "Why are you suspecting these guys? He's one of your people. You shouldn't." And like the white guy is on the side, like he's sort of clamoring for the traditional Blaxploitation villain. It's got to be a white man doing this to you guys, right?
Well, that's the thing. It subverts expectations in a way that I really appreciated, which is a good thing because, again, my
Hello, this is Aaron West. I am the author of the A24 New Wave. In this book, I look at A24's output and I make the argument that we are in a new wave movement right now. A24 plays a major role. This book has a supplemental podcast where each episode is a brief conversation about an A24 related topic, whether an actor, director, or even a genre. As I continue research for the book and conduct interviews, I expect to record podcast episodes with people involved with the company. You can find the podcast at cinejourneys.com or wherever you find podcasts, and we are proud to be members of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
expectation was black heroes, white villain, and so when that wasn't the case, I was like, oh, okay, awesome. Like, we're getting something different, and we're getting a film that I wasn't really expecting such like a very dialed-in action film.
Yeah, I mean, I hesitate to say that the movie is nuanced, but it certainly is compared to something like Truck Turner or Trouble Man or Superfly, like where it's clear, like, Whitey is the problem. Those movies, those types of the crime blaxploitation movies feel almost like bread and circus. You know what I mean? Like just giving the people what they want. Like you feel undermined and white people are the problem. Like, well, here it is, like on the big screen, and you're going to come out on top. Which, isn't, look, honestly, my favorite blaxploitation movies are the horror films, like Blackula, and particularly Scream, Blackula, Scream, which is a really good movie. And what's funny about those movies, we're not going to be covering them this month, but if you check them out, the man playing Dracula, whose name escapes me at the moment, is also the king of cartoons on Pee-wee's Playhouse later, which is really odd. Yes, William Marshall, absolutely. So that was kind of odd to having grown up watching Pee-wee's Playhouse and then hearing about Blackula my whole life and then watching it and going, isn't that the king of cartoons? Why is he killing everyone?
And I've never seen Blackula.
Oh my God, yeah, you got to see Blackula. See Blackula, if only for the credit sequence, which is gorgeous. It's this hand-drawn animation thing that they did for it. It's absolutely beautiful. And, you told me that you guys did you covered my favorite blaxploitation horror movie, which is Sugar Hill, which is a sort of a voodoo zombie mafia movie like that.
Well, I covered it with Mike White on the Projection Booth.
Right.
So, and Mike White's Projection Booth podcast, if you've never listened to it, it boils down to an audio oral history of these movies.
Oh, okay.
And I can't do it justice because he already has. So, it's treading old ground, you know what I mean?
Sure. Oh, no, I'm not suggesting that we should do it.
Sugar Hill is great. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's completely bonkers in the best way.
Yeah.
Which is what I want. I want that's the thing that I wanted with this movie is I wanted some bonkers shit.
If you're approaching the craziness that you're hoping for, like this is not necessarily that movie. Why I like to sort of throw this one in first is to show you what the genre could be, like if they took the extra step to maybe hire the best actor they could and not just whoever, fits the suit, basically. Fear not, because obviously, I don't know if you've watched Petey Wheatstraw, The Devil's Son-in-Law yet, but it's, oh boy, is it something. Rudy Ray Moore as a person, because he also made the film Dolomite, which is, I think, a little more well-known than Petey Wheatstraw.
So I haven't seen Petey Wheatstraw, but I can report that Mike White was curious as to why we were doing Petey Wheatstraw.
Oh, well, we'll talk about it next week.
Because bearing the lead a little bit, he doesn't like that movie very much.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was kind of his takeaway. He was like, "Oh, everything else is great, but why are you doing Petey Wheatstraw?"
But that is why we're doing Petey Wheatstraw.
Because it's rough.
Yeah. Oh, it is so. I mean, look, you can watch it and appreciate it like as a bad movie, or you can appreciate it because I actually don't like doing that. I'm not. I can't really. I can't get into a movie ironically. That movie, it is so crazy, man. And we'll talk about it next week. I don't want to give anything away, but I think it's a perfect example of the blaxploitation genre as far as how totally insane you can go with it, and it's totally entertaining. Rudy Ray Moore as a human being is a fascinating cat. He made Dolomite, obviously, Human Tornado. Petey Wheatstraw, like a whole bunch of he had a lounge act, he had tons of comedy albums and stuff. He's an interesting guy, and as it turns out, weirdly that we just chose to do this genre. I'm sure you know the screenwriters Scott Alexander and Larry Karaszewski, who wrote Ed Wood and People vs. Larry Flint, and basically, they chronicle biographies of American oddballs. They did Big Eyes, the latest Tim Burton movie. They have written a movie about Rudy Ray Moore, which just went into production or pre-production, and Eddie Murphy is going to be playing Rudy Ray Moore in that film.
And see that again, synchronicity.
Yes, that was weird. I know they've been trying to get a movie made about him forever, so it was a little unusual that it just sort of came to fruition.
No, it's just a weird little bit of synchronicity, right? And again, that kind of proves the point of blaxploitation films, right? Is that even in 2018, we're still talking about the people that were involved in making them. We're still talking about them as a genre, and as a genre that still affects films that are being now. I mean, it should come as no surprise to anyone who's seen any blaxploitation film that Quentin Tarantino rips them off heavily.
So heavily, embarrassingly so. And again, you're going to see that specifically next week with Petey Wheatstraw. I mean, look, it's easy to kind of dismiss the movies. I think there have been loving tributes to them. Black Dynamite is one of them, the film, and then the television series. And, the Wayans, Keenan Wayans did a film called I'ma Get You Sucker back in the day, which is sort of like his, parody of them. And there's a lot to sort of laugh at in them, but you also can't deny the importance of them because really, up until then, nobody gave a shit about black audiences and were making anything for them. So even if you can point to the quality of them and say that they were subpar, you can't deny the fact that they were important to an entire segment of the American population at that time. And we are still talking about them. They got a fucking Superfly remake coming out this weekend. Clearly the circle has come around or something.
Right. Well, and again, that's kind of the point of blaxploitation as a genre, right? Is that it's not something that's stuck in the era when it was made.
No.
And that's that's a testament to it as a genre, right?
Mm-hmm.
If these films can exist, and even like reiterations from them can exist 20, 30, 40, 50 years past when they were released, that means that these films have some sticking power.
Totally.
And this film is one of them. It's just unfortunate that no one has seen it.
Right.
Well, not
it's
one, but
I mean,
none of us whiteys. None of us whiteys.
Exactly. It'll show up on a list or two. And people who have seen it, like me, are obviously going to recommend it like immediately. But it kind of baffles me that I think this movie is better than a lot of the crime movies, the sort of traditional white crime movies that were coming out in the 70s, or at least equal to them. Like, why people are still recommending Serpico and not this movie is kind of crazy to me. Cruising got a big sort of push when it came out on like Blu-ray and everything, and like, that movie's good, I guess. I mean, I like parts of it, but it's not this movie. This movie's solid, beginning to end. I don't know. This is a good movie. Everyone needs to see it. Like, Godfrey Cambridge and Raymond St. Jacques' performances alone are worth the price of admission on this. Never mind all the weirdo peripheral characters that show up. Like you said, Cleavon Little is this junkie. Cleavon Little, who we only know from Blazing Saddles, mainly, although he's also in Vanishing Point, where he's really good.
He was also in an episode of Tales from the Crypt.
Yes, and don't forget Once Bitten, the vampire opus with young Jim Carrey from 1984 or 5.
Never seen it.
Oh my God, in heaven! Okay,
is it that good?
Oh yeah, no, it's terrible, but it is good. It's fun. It's sort of like that sort of the TNA comedy sort of wave that was going on in the sort of early 1980s. Like, it kind of slots into that. And well, you know me, I like movies set in and around Hollywood at that time. Like, I just like the look and the sheen of dirty Hollywood, and that movie is right in there. And Jim Carrey's really good in it too. He can't be more than like 22 years old, I think, in that film. What
a career he's had. Am I right? Yikes.
Yeah, dude. It's crazy and well deserved. Super, I think the guy is super talented, and I think that's
maybe
a good
little
one to go
full
back
of
and watch.
himself. Maybe a little full of himself.
Yeah, I think we're talking about the fucking Andy Kaufman movie right now, where maybe like one. I think, aren't we?
I don't know. I mean, his more recent stuff seems to be lacking the Jim Carrey. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I know everyone wants him to just continue to be this fucking like clown, but
to be fair, that's what he's most successful as.
Right, and I appreciate that, but that doesn't mean he can't sort of step into other genres. And I think
and Dumber was great.
Yes, okay, he's really good. But but you know what?
Yeah, fuck you.
No. I'm not saying that. He is really good in Dumb and Dumber. He's the best thing in that movie.
No.
Well, I don't know. Jeff Daniels is really good too.
I was talking about the sequel, sir.
Oh, the sequel? No, that's awful. That was terrible. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, people want him in that box of like the rubber-faced goofy man. And it's like, okay, well, I'll do it again, but like I'm fucking 50-something years old now. It's not going to be that cute.
To be fair, though, have you seen some of his more recent stuff where he tries to do dramatic acting? It's not good.
Well, is it that he's bad, or is it that the movie is bad?
I mean, he doesn't elevate the film. Let's put it that way.
Okay, right. I don't know. Maybe it's part and parcel. Maybe he just needs the right project, because you look at something like Truman Show, he's really good in that.
What about Number 23?
Yeah, okay, that's a Joel Schumacher thing, right? That was fucking terrible. And
that movie is legitimately just
that movie.
It's an M. Night Shyamalan film.
Right, it's garbage, and he's bad in it. But then he shouldn't be playing that role.
No, but then he had that film that just came out, Dark Crimes.
Yeah, this is like some sort of Russian mob thing. Like, I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Supposedly not good.
Right, it doesn't look good.
No, it doesn't look. But again, is it him or is it the movie?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, have you seen the preview for the new Michel Gondry thing he's doing? He's got a TV. He's got like a Netflix
come
series.
As a surprise, because one of the best things Jim Carrey ever did was with Michel Gondry.
Right, and okay, and that movie is as whimsical as it is, because it's Michel Gondry and it sort of like legally has to be whimsical. Like, that's a dramatic movie and he's great in it.
Yeah.
So there we go. Anyway, go watch Once Bitten. I guarantee you'll enjoy it.
But is it as good as the other 80s/early 90s vampire film, the Nick Cage vampire film?
Oh, we're talking about Vampire's Kiss. Yes, it's that's a terrible movie. It's better than that.
That movie is just, oh my God. We did a Kulturecast over it, I think, 2 years ago, and dear God,
yeah,
it's really bad.
Yeah, it's nearly unwatchable. Here's a weird coincidence. I actually went to the premiere of Vampire's Kiss. It was at the Boston Film Festival. I must have been 14, and I sat behind Nicolas Cage, who had on the worst cologne I've ever smelled in my life. I had to get up and leave at one point just to like wash my eyes out and come back. Ooh. Yeah. So that movie.
Did he do the ABCs for you?
No, he didn't. Which he did not in person.
Oh God! Just again, the genre of vampire films, talking about blaxploitation, has been so taken apart at this point that the fact that we can get a blaxploitation vampire film is again further testament. And we got a semi blaxploitation vampire film in the 90s with that Eddie Murphy.
Directed by Wes Craven of all people.
Right, but it's just like it's a testament to blaxploitation as a genre that it can exist. Like,
and
in any decade, any year, it's not defined by it was the 60s and 70s. Oh, it's a time of racial turmoil in this country. This is, I mean, whatever, you could talk about that now, but it spans the years, which is important.
Absolutely, and it's crazy that it's 2018 and we can still have to point to a movie and go like, wow, seeing an all-black cast is interesting, like Witness Black Panther, which I know we both weren't wowed by, but like the fact is that there's still a huge portion of the population like waiting for their stories to be told, however good or bad those stories are going to be told. And we still needed a good vampire movie. The fact is, in the 90s, we had Tales from the Hood came out. Like, had there been a black anthology horror film before that? No, there hadn't. And that's crazy because there have been literally 100 anthology horror movies up until that point.
But what about Snoop Dogg's Hood of Horrors?
Oh, yeah. What about it?
Man, that movie is it's a special film.
Yeah. Someone like Snoop took away all the wrong lessons from blaxploitation. It's don't try and be bad.
Hello, filthy movie lovers. My name is Gentry Austin.
And I'm Casey Scott.
And we're the hosts of the Sin Syndicate, film podcast for something weirdos, anti-criterion bros, and Joseph Sarno aficionados. Join us semi-weekly as we peer into the adults-only theaters and sticky-floored cinemas of the golden age of sexploitation, when the morals were loose, the laws were murky, and the intercourse was all simulated. Find us now on the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Hello, my name is Kevin Tudor, and I'm one of the 3 hosts of Almost Major, a film podcast dissecting many major indie studios and the films they release. Every week, myself, Charlie Nash, and Bryden Doyle discuss overlooked, forgotten, or bona fide classic indie films via studio-specific miniseries. We've previously covered numerous films from Artisan Entertainment, Lionsgate Films, and New Line Cinema. Titles including The Blair Witch Project, American Psycho, Dogville, But I'm a Cheerleader, Saw, Requiem for a Dream, and Ringmaster, the Jerry Springer film. Anyways, we have a fun time every week and we hope you will join us. Subscribe to Almost Major wherever you get your podcasts. Now proudly a part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Try and be good, but if it ends up being bad and it can be enjoyed on a different level, then do that. But I can't abide fake cult movies that are made specifically to be cult movies, like the entire Trauma collection, like that. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm too high-minded, quote unquote. But I couldn't get into those movies at all. I'm in the minority. I'm sure people are going to hate me for saying that, but whatever. I don't care.
Well, that's the thing, right? That we kind of need to talk about when it comes to blaxploitation, and that we kind of haven't talked about on the Kulturecast a whole lot, is bad movies being made poorly on purpose.
Yeah.
As opposed to a movie just not being great, but being endearing in its bad.
Ineptitude. Yeah. I mean, you can just take a movie that was made poorly, like they didn't have the funds, The guy making it, like, couldn't fucking cut together anything, like, doesn't know how to set the camera up. Like, okay, that's a failing on their part, but their intention was good. Like, but when you take a seasoned people who know what they're doing and are like, let's shoot it in a poor way, and these effects will be stupid because we're fucking designing them to look cheap, and I don't know, man, I can't abide it. It drives me crazy. Don't make the bad movie. Like, if you're setting out to do that, just fucking stay home. Like, I don't need to see that. Like, there are plenty of movies, as you said, that are endearing in their ineptitude, that, you know, I don't know.
A film like The Room, a film that's essentially now is kind of passé, done to death.
Yeah.
I think it's a film that's been put to bed thanks to The Disaster Artist.
Yeah, I don't think anyone has to revisit the movie again.
Right. It is bad in its ineptitude, but it's endearingly bad.
Right, because
he had no idea what he was doing.
Right, and he was taking it very seriously. Right. Like, he isn't kidding.
This is not a joke.
Right. Like, he thought he was making Citizen Kane, and that's why that movie has sort of latched on to people, or people have latched on to it, rather. But I don't know, man. I can't, you know, like the Toxic Avenger, you know, like, what's stupid? Like, what can we do that's kind of idiot proof? Like, you know, like that we'll put the box art on and whatever, like, throw it out there. Like, even Roger Corman, like, because people accused him of, like, sort of intentionally making bad movies back in, like, the 60s and everything. If you listen to one interview by that guy, he was trying, man. I was just, in fact, reading about, like, a book of essays about the sort of Poe movies, like, at the time, and, like, Corman was trying, man. He was trying to be Ingmar Bergman. He wasn't just, like, dicking around to make a quick buck. So, like, even the worst of his output, like, as cheaply or as, like, formulaic as it was, like, it seemed to be like, let's do something good and make money doing it. Like, let's maximize those two things, but, like, not let's just put a piece of shit out there and make a quick buck.
What do you consider just pick a movie, not a genre, not a director. What do you consider to be a bad movie?
Okay. Well, I mean, are we talking about a bad movie that I can watch?
No, a bad movie that was made and is not endearingly bad. It's just bad.
Oh, weirdly, the movie Kiss of Death just came to mind. That's another Nick Cage movie with David Caruso. I think even Barbet Schroeder directed that movie, and it's a remake of a classic noir, and it was fucking unwatchable. To me, any bad movie is when I'm at a point where I'm like, I don't care how this movie ends. I can no longer invest any time in this. Right. And that's one where I didn't even get through. I think I got up and left the theater, which I never do. Waterworld was another one where I couldn't tell you how Waterworld ends. I did not stay. That movie was offensive to me, like, in its ineptitude. Like, I couldn't get into it at all. Those are, you know, I don't know, maybe someone likes Waterworld out there. Sorry, I hope you did. They made a great stunt show out of it at Universal Studios.
Right. That's kind of the only redeeming thing about it at this point.
Hey, man, I'll stand front and center and tell you that was a great stunt show. But that movie was fucking garbage. I don't know. Like, to me, ultimately, that's it. Like, if it's so offensive that I cannot finish it, that to me is a bad movie. And that's what sort of drives me crazy when people, like, you know, they had, like, the Golden Turkey Awards and shit, like, in the early 80s and stuff, where everyone pointed at Ed Wood and said, like, these are the worst movies of all time. It's like, I can watch those movies and have seen them all a lot. To me, that's a win. You know what I mean? Like, I've got Plan 9 on my shelf right now. And I'm not gonna have a copy of Kiss of Death anywhere near my house.
Well, and let's be perfectly honest here. A film like Plan 9, similarly to The Room, has kind of changed in its perception.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Because of a film like Ed Wood.
Right, where we pointed out, or was pointed out to us rather, like, how earnest he was, and how enthusiastic, and you look at the behind the scenes, and you realize it was an achievement for this oddball guy to actually get it together enough that people got behind him and made these movies. And so there's a whole other level to the works of Ed Wood now, but, like, even on just, like, before we knew any of that level, like, watching those movies, they were fun because of exactly what we're saying. Like, you can tell just from watching that movie, having no idea about who Ed Wood was or how he got the movie made, that they are not fucking around with us. They're not winking at us in those movies. And so, you can appreciate it on that level. I don't know. Again, I don't try to enjoy a movie like ironically. I don't like to just, because the movie is so poorly made, like I dig it for that reason.
You know what, actually, a film that I really hate, Armageddon.
I'm 100% with you on that.
But you understand why, because I feel that there's nothing redeeming about that film.
Yeah,
nothing whatsoever.
No, I agree 100% with you. Right. Let me say this though. I did see the end of Armageddon. There is a moment in the movie that I like, but it's just one moment. And you can't say the movie is good because of that one moment. I agree. I do not like that movie. I would like to never see it again. Look, Michael Bay is a fucking hack, man. Like, he does not give a shit. And he has this giant budget, and he could do anything he wanted, and he chooses to do the, least common denominator. Those Transformer movies, man, they're just hideous, right?
Well, and that's the thing is, when I think of a bad movie, I think of a movie that has no redeeming qualities. However, someone might look at a Blaxploitation film and be like, well, this movie's bad because it's intentionally campy, and it's just, these movies, these Blaxploitation films, the ones that I've seen so far, I like them and I appreciate what they're doing, and I understand that they are being made at a time and at an era where these kind of movies it was just impressive that they were being made with a black cast and getting released nationwide to begin with, right?
Yeah, totally.
And so you have to look at it in that respect. Yes, maybe the film hasn't aged well. Yes, maybe a film like Blackula, from all accounts, is not a great film. But you know what? Again, these films, they left a lasting impression on cinema.
Yeah, there's no denying their place sort of in the pantheon of film genre. The fact is, there is a fucking film genre called Blaxploitation that we're still talking about now. And not just that, look, we didn't have to, you asked me to sort of program this month. I didn't have to dig far to come up with this genre. It's always there. Look, some of these movies are garbage. A lot of these movies are really good.
But again, a lot of movies that come out right now are garbage.
Yeah. And that's the hallmark of any era. Like, people always say, this kind of drives me crazy when people say, like, well, the 70s, that was the golden age of cinema. It's like, yeah, in a way, because, the studios were crumbling and nobody knew what the fuck they were doing. And there's an entire generation, really well-versed in cinema who had a couple of things to say. So in that regard, yeah, there were fucking great movies coming out of the 70s, and there's a lot of fucking bullshit. I always say this, I break it down to this weirdo formula of mine, but I'm like at any one time, 95% of what we're being fed in any media is just terrible and not worth a second look. And then, that extra 5%, there's good and pretty good and really good, and there's maybe 0.5% that's fucking great and will stand the test of time. And I think that's true of every decade for, at least in cinema, definitely for, 120 years now. So, yeah, I don't know. It drives me crazy when people are like, well, no, they don't make movies as well as they used to. I'm like, yeah, they do. You're just not fucking looking for them. Blaxploitation, yeah, there are some terrible movies. There's some fucking great ones. It's a constant, ebb and flow with these things.
And I think that this is like you said, this is a good spot to dip your toes in the water.
Yeah.
If you're talking about not going full Blaxploitation, this is a film that kind of bridges the gap.
If you watch this movie and you're just like, yeah, this thing is not for me, then you're A, probably a racist, but B, not going to enjoy Blaxploitation, at all.
It's not black enough for you. That's
this movie is black enough for me. Because there are hints at, there's sort of juvenile comedy here and there in this movie, and there's, a bit of, titillation in some cases, and there's crime, and there's sort of black pride, which comes up a lot in these movies. This one does it, as we've said, in a restrained, kind of nuanced fashion. So, this is the roadmap of where we're going to go if you want to continue this Blaxploitation journey. And I think this one does it subtly, and the stuff that comes later goes just off the map in every direction.
And I think, even though we didn't get to cover Black Mama, White Mama, this film builds upon that film because that film, you said you do disagree with me a little bit. It's less blaxploitation than this film, so this is like building on it. This is building blaxploitation.
Yeah, this is I think this is the cornerstone. This is or the foundation rather. We're
gonna get to something next week that's just completely out there.
Yeah, I mean, like for all the restraint and nuance that Cotton Comes to Harlem shows, the next one, Rudy Ray Moore, is like, well, let's throw it all in and we'll take it to the extreme. The next movie is The 11. It's really as out there as he could make it. And Rudy Ray Moore never saw a line that he didn't think should have been obliterated and crossed to the nth degree. And it is the perfect bookend to this one because it's also kind of a crime movie with all of those elements that Cotton Comes to Harlem kind of touched on lightly. This one is like, let's hit them with a fucking hammer. I don't know. I'm really looking forward to seeing what your opinion is of Peter Wheatstra.
Let's really drive the point home, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, what would you give Cotton Comes to Harlem out of 5?
I'd give it a solid 4. I'll give it a 4. I won't qualify it. I think it's a goddamn good movie. I think again, for those two characters, which by the way, just the names Gravedigger Jones and Coffin Ed Johnson, like that alone gets it a point in my mind. Never mind the sort of the fascinating chemistry of those two characters, and an early really good performance by Red Fox.
Wow! And Red Fox. I mean, again, having never seen Sanford and Son, I enjoyed Red Fox in this movie.
He can go a little broad at times, and I think he was real good in this movie.
Yeah, I like this movie. I think it's a good crime film outside of being a blaxploitation film. Which, again, I think is, if we're talking about the success of blaxploitation films for quote unquote mainstream audiences, it being able to work outside of the blaxploitation moniker is a big part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. If there hadn't been,
but it's not a requirement.
No, if there hadn't been an explosion of the other movies we're going to be talking about, then this movie would have just stood alone as like another example of a good 70s crime movie, like Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, or that kind of those examples of the genre. It just so happens to be the fuse that was lit that led to the rest.
And I would give it a 4 out of 5 as well. I think it's a fun, good movie, and I think it's got everything that I want in it.
Yeah, and you can recommend this movie without any qualifiers. You won't have to say, well, the comedy's going to get like totally fucking ridiculous, or they're going to have this sort of the overly arch white villain who is representative of the man in general. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to explain. I just go, here, watch this movie. It's really good. And you can go and do it.
No, I'm with you.
Have you ever wanted to dive deeper into the horror movies you love? Beyond the Blood is a horror podcast for fans who want more than just surface-level screams. We do deep dives into the movies that shaped us, digging into director commentaries, behind-the-scenes stories, deleted scenes, and the special features that most people skip. Each episode is a love letter to the genre. We break down how these films were made, the creative risks that paid off or didn't, and the lasting impact they've had on the genre as a whole. From 70s slashers to modern nightmares, we celebrate the craft, chaos, and characters that keep us coming back. If you're the kind of fan who rewatches movies with the commentary on, or you simply grew up in the video store horror aisle, the Beyond the Blood podcast was made for you. New episodes every single week. Subscribe, let's dig deep. Welcome to the Beyond the Blood podcast.
I'm 100% with you. It's a film that I will suggest to people to watch outside of it just being like, this is a good example of blaxploitation. This is just a good movie.
Yeah.
It's a little hard to find, but that's a different story.
I know. Most of these movies are a little iffy sometimes to sort of pick up. But, look, if this encourages anyone to see it, I'm super stoked. Like, I lived in LA for a long time and I got lucky because it's still a movie town. And they still will like program a festival. So I did get to see pretty much everything we're talking about. I got to see in the theater, and that's it's pretty great to see it on the big screen.
What do you think the film has? Well, I guess technically it doesn't even have a Rotten Tomatoes score. It has no Rotten Tomatoes score. What do you think it has from the audience?
Well, first of all, I'm kind of shocked that it doesn't. From the audience, I don't know, 80s? I'll say in the 80s. Hopefully, I'm crossing my fingers.
69%, dude.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, Jesus.
This is why you can't trust anyone who fucking writes reviews online, including you and me.
This is why you can't trust the white man. Okay, brother? That's why you can't trust the white.
I don't trust Whitey.
Don't trust Whitey. That's ultimately what Blaxploitation Films all about. Yeah, but 4 positive reviews from the critics that are on there. So,
well, good. I mean, how can it not be? It's a damn fine movie. I couldn't. Well, if I was forced to pick it apart, I bet I could find some stuff to complain about. But the overall mood I have watching that movie is enjoyment, and even with some of the more unsavory things, they do slap women around a little too much in this. But even they sort of get their revenge, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let's take a break and we'll play a preview for the next Kulturecast.
Come on, Peter. Let's just do it.
It's heartening to see so many strange new faces here today. I know my mom would be very touched and probably a little suspicious. My mother was a very secretive and private woman. It's Grandma. You know you were her favorite, right? Even when you were a little baby, she wouldn't let me feed you because she needed to feed you. She was a very difficult woman, which maybe explains me.
I recognize you from your mother.
What? Sometimes I swear I can feel them in the room.
Oh my God! What's that?
She isn't gone.
She had private rituals, private friends.
Who's gonna take care of me?
You don't think I'm gonna take care of you?
But when you die...
And she wasn't altogether there. At the end.
Mom?
I don't like this. Dad, I don't like this.
What's happening? Peter! Don't you ever raise your voice at me! I am your mother! Please stop! Mom, what's happening? Make it stop! Make it stop!
I just don't want to put any more stress on my family.
On the next Kulturecast, we're going to be talking about Ari Aster's debut film, writer-director Ari Aster's Hereditary, the scariest movie of the year, the scariest horror movie of the last decade. Stop saying that. You're not selling anybody on the movie, except for, as Bill Murray would say, the straights. You're scaring the straights.
Yeah.
So cut that shit out. Just cut it.
Nothing like hyperbole to ruin a horror movie for me, because I hear that, I'm like, I'm expecting the best movie, and then I see it and I go, are you fucking, who saw this? It's funny, Chris, because I was just talking to a friend of mine who's really film savvy as well about this today. In fact, we were talking about Hereditary based on these sort of overly glowing reviews. It seems to me that certain internet critics get to see these movies at a festival several months before, and they all want to be the one who breaks that movie. You know what I mean? They all want to be the one who and it ruins the experience for everybody.
Well, and that's the thing, and Eric and I have talked about this multiple times. Movies like The Witch.
Yes, and that's exactly what I was thinking of.
It Follows.
Yes!
What's the other one? I'm not going to say Get Out, because I really liked Get Out.
Yeah. I haven't been hearing about Get Out for like 6 to 8 months beforehand, whereas I certainly did with The Witch and It Follows. To the point where I was like so excited to see those movies, like I was vibrating with excitement to see them, and then I'm like, "What? This is it? Really?"
It's like the other one that I always point my finger at, The Babadook.
Oh yeah, The Babadook, exactly.
The scariest movie since The Exorcist. First off, Exorcist isn't that scary. Just a heads up. Secondly, The Babadook is just a bad movie.
Yeah, and just like it makes me wonder about the reviewers if they've ever seen a horror movie before. I mean, because if they hadn't,
that's my question, right? That's the ultimate question here: is people that are not genre fans, their opinions on movies, like when they say it's the best horror movie I've ever seen. How often are they going to see any horror movies that aren't The Purge or Rings or other of these like really garbagey mainstream horror movies that come out seemingly every other Friday night or every other Friday of every other week to try to get the 15 to 18-year-old crowd into the theater to have an arm for their date to grab onto.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if all you've seen is the remake of fucking House of Wax, and then you saw It Follows, then certainly it is the scariest movie you've ever seen. But for those of us who actually care about the genre, you're doing us a disservice by saying that.
But to be fair, that remake of House of Wax isn't bad.
I like that it's an actual House of Wax, certainly.
That's the dumbest part of that whole movie. that is the most unbelievable part of that whole film.
Yeah, it's that. You know what's crazy about those movies, man? Like they're all, well, maybe not that one, but I think that was a Zemeckis production where Dark Castle was the production company, like he and I think Joel Silver, maybe a couple others, sort of founded to like ostensibly to remake the films of William Castle, who is one of my favorite filmmakers of all time. And Castle's movies have a lot of shortcomings. That doesn't diminish how great they are. But they are very ripe for remake to like hammer home what he couldn't get away with at the time or didn't have the budget to do. And so you get somebody like Robert Zemeckis who's like, we're going to remake all these William Castle movies like House on Haunted Hill or there've been a bunch. And he just made them awful. Like they were just terrible. Like unconscionable that he made them. That's all. I mean, he didn't direct them or anything, but like the fact that he was okay with like just good enough. Like 13 Ghosts is another example. That's a little bit better than House on Haunted Hill, but like 13 Ghosts as an original movie is just okay. There's so much room for improvement, and I think they made a little bit of a better movie, but ultimately they didn't care. At the end of the day, they were just like, we're gonna have these ghosts and blah blah blah, and we'll get the money, and the kids will come in and see it, and who gives a shit? We'll get the new metal score and, pump out a soundtrack. I don't know. It just drives me nuts.
George Clooney directed a film for Dark Castle last
Did he really?
Suburbicon.
Was that a Dark Castle production?
It was.
Wow.
And you know what's coming out this year that's a Dark Castle production? The Predator.
Oh, The Predator's a Dark Castle.
Because of course it is.
Of course it is. Why not?
Right. But yeah, this whole horror movie thing, it's really just I'm coming to the end of my rope with the horror movie love fest that we keep getting for these horror movies.
Yeah.
Not to give away my thoughts on Hereditary, which that's not my thoughts on Hereditary, but I'm done.
Yeah, I think it would behoove it's like you're saying, like these reviews aren't, to my knowledge, maybe it's just me, but a review of a movie doesn't get me into the theater. Like I either am interested in the subject matter or I'm not. So I've never understood the trailer campaign or advertising campaign that is based entirely on the reviews of the movie, how glowing they might be, particularly in an age where I don't trust any of the reviewers. Like the print ads now and the sort of trailer ads where they're giving us like a couple of lines from a review, and then you see the name of the review and it's from whatever bullshit.com. Like those to me harken back to like the old TV ads that they would do for like the initial Child's Play movies, where it's like people walking out of the theater telling me like what the movie is like. Oh, it's the scariest movie ever. Like, yeah, that's the same level of thoughtfulness that's gone into these newer ones. But somehow it looks more legitimate when it's like a blurb instead of just some like random schmo in a hoodie coming out of a cinema.
Well, and again, I think is the real, that for me is the real issue. So you just gotta understand where your reviews are coming from, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone, please stop doing that.
Yeah. Well, until then, Mr. Wallace, where can people find you and what have you been up to?
You can find my show You've Never Seen on YouTube and OughtFiveFilms. I do have a Twitter handle that I've actually created. Actually, my girl Jess made it for me. A Twitter handle specifically for You've Never Seen, which I'm going to be updating that from now on. And I'm actually working on my own podcast version of that. So that'll be forthcoming. I have ditched my. I was on a podcast forever called We'll Take It From Here, and that's no longer a thing. So I'm going to be doing my own one in the coming weeks, months, whatever. So you're going to have some competition here, Stachiw.
Yeah, if I don't figure out a way to weasel my way onto that podcast.
Oh, you're definitely going to be on the podcast.
It's not really competition if we're all just cross-promoting.
Yeah, I know. Like, there's no competition where we just keep guesting on each other's things.
Yeah, that's true. So no Father Mal 1 anymore?
Well, no, I mean, it's still there, but I'm not updating it all that much. Like, I kind of did what I wanted to do, which is get people to go to my YouTube page.
Well, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
In this day and age, it's all about the followers. It's all about the retweets. It's all about the upvotes. It's all about that sweet, sweet online carp.
Exactly. And I am working on a new video right now. I'm doing a film called Roadside Prophets from 1992, Abby Wool's sort of update on Easy Rider, which is another one of my favorites.
I mean, it's probably not any After Dark, though.
Look, well, what is?
I say After Dark because I think of Tito and Tarantula. I always say that.
Tito and Tarantula?
Well, because that song from Dusk Till Dawn is After Dark.
After Dark, right. Well, there you go.
Yeah. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at Kulturestash. You can follow my wayward co-host Eric on Twitter at Tycho Magnetics. You can follow our parent website, Culture Shocked, on Twitter at Culture Shocked. Head on over to cultureshock.com/culturecast to check out more info about today's episode. It'll also be in the episode notes below. Head on over to iTunes, give us a good rating and review. It'll help other people find our little podcast we're doing here. Patreon.com/the_culturecast. Jesus Christ, I can never fucking remember what it is. Doesn't matter. No one gives me money anyways. Patreon.com/culture_shocked is where you can go to kick a couple dollars our way if you want to help us out. We'd love to have you for dinner.
And your money, yes.
You and your money. And big thanks as always to Erica and Revoca for the intro music and my good buddy Justin Scott for the outro music, and we will see you in the next Kulturecast.
You know how we do, I'm just two-step, drink in my right hand, phone in my other hand, getting to the money, oh man, two-step, posted with the crew, yeah, you know how we do.
Hey, two-stepping, know what I'm saying, 1, 2, 1, 2, Benjamin, aka the Black T, you know what I'm saying.